To upload yesterday, but none of you would have needed to look at it because we didn't really learn anything yesterday. But before we go further, who completed their homework? How long is a meter? Fatima?
100 centimeters.
Wrong answer. But it is 100 centimeters. But the next question is then, how long is a centimeter? 1/100th of a meter. Right? So, yes, a meter is 100 centimeters. But is this... I say that's 100 centimeters. Is it? No, of course not. I say that's 100 centimeters. Is it? No, of course not. So how long's a meter? The length of a meter stick. How did they know when to cut that meter stick? All right, second night of homework. Tomorrow tell me how long is a meter, unless somebody else has another answer. No? Okay. Second night of homework. How long is a meter? Dylan, do you know, or are you laughing because you know?
Well, I don't know if it's the answer, but I found that it's the distance it takes light to travel in...
Yes.
It's a very small fraction of a second.
Yes.
3.29.
Yes. A meter is based on the speed of light. Why? Do you think they use... Huh?
Because it's always the same.
Because the speed of light is always the same. Where? Everywhere. If we go to Alpha Centauri, a meter will still be a meter because the speed of light is the same. That is not originally what was a meter, because when were meters invented? In the 1700s, we talked about that. Do you think they could measure the speed of light then? No, of course not. What a meter originally was the circumference of the Earth divided by, I can't remember how much, because I only know the real definition for now. It's actually gone through about 5 different definitions how they decided how long a meter was. But they used the circumference of the Earth because in the 1700s they thought that the Earth was a perfect sphere. It of course is not. It is an ellipse. It's slightly oval. It bulges more in the middle, kind of like me. But yes, that is how they decide what a meter is. It is how far light will travel in 3 billionth of a second. It's based on the speed of light. Well done, Dylan. Wikipedia? Yeah! Good old Wikipedia. That's one of the times when Wikipedia is right. Very often it isn't. But that is actually correct. Okay, so well done there. But it is also 100 meters, 1,000 millimeters, a million micrometers, and so on and so on and so on. It is also 1/1000th of a kilometer and all those things. Okay, so you were to estimate in both systems of measure all these things. Now, some of you will maybe last night have gone home and Googled the average length of an ant. But that was not the point. The point was to see what, if you guys understood, like some kids always say, that ant is 6 inches long. If the ant was 6 inches long, the ant would be that big. And if an ant walked up to me that was that big, you would not see me because I would be gone. Because I run when things are chasing me or they scare me. And an ant that size would scare me. That was the whole point of this question. Even if you said the ant was 1 inch long, that is 1 inch. An ant that big would scare me. I'm a bit of a wuss. Okay, everybody understand? All right, that was the whole point of this. So, who has a guess on how wide their locker is? I have measured the lockers numerous times for this question. I know actually how wide a locker is. How many of you have a guess? It's 7,000 millimeters. Did you actually measure it, Sonia, or are you guessing?
I'm guessing.
Tell me what you think it is. In either SI or metric. Or, thank you, Stanley. SI or Imperial.
Okay. 35 centimeters?
Your guess is 35 centimeters, which is slightly more than 1 foot. It's actually about 1 foot, 2 inches. Anybody got something else? What do you got? A foot? Yeah. Anybody got anything else? Yeah, it's 13 inches, actually, when you measure it. Well done. Good guess. I like it I like you doing this class with honors students because very often you are very close. In other classes, 6 centimeters. Your locker is that wide. Yep. Okay. Height of your desk. What do you think it is? Fatima?
1 meter.
1 meter? So 1 meter, which is about 3 feet. And if I'm not mistaken, they are 38 inches tall, which is 3 feet 2 inches. Pretty good. Well done. That makes me so happy. And there's a reason I do this. Because if you can visualize distances, if I give you a math question involving long distances, and you do a whole bunch of work, and you get a crazy stupid number, you won't hand it in to me, will you? Let me give you an example. There's a question I do to ask how many steps it will take to walk the length of Vancouver Island. Vancouver Island is 450 kilometers long. I've had kids say it will take them 15 steps to walk that far. 15 steps. Half page of work, 15 steps. Which means, of course, I could walk to Chilliwack in 1 step. That is what I am trying to avoid by giving you this work. Because this isn't real math work, is it? Right? There's no math here. This is looking at something and saying, yeah, it looks like it's about 3 feet tall. That's good. The fact that any of you are anywhere close is phenomenally good. Some of you are bothered by, oh, I'm not right. Of course you're not right, because unless you got out a measuring tape, you couldn't possibly be right, could you? Good. Length of your pencil. It's going to change for everybody, yeah? So whatever one you're working with. There's a kid in the grade 10 class that was in here last semester. His goal was to work with the shortest pencils he could. Some of you may know the man. His name is Mark. He was writing with pencils like that long. And it would piss me off because he sat right there and I would watch him. Oh my God, here's a pencil. It's like, no! Drove me up the wall. Anyway, how long is the pencil? Tavlin. 15 centimeters. Let's check, shall we? This is my pencil. Good gravy. It's 14.8 centimeters. Well done. 15 centimeters. Which is about 6 inches. Length of an ant. Remember, it's not 6 inches. Because that ant you run screaming from.
It's 5 inches.
5 inches? An ant is that long? What ant is that long? Is there an ant that is 5 inches long? Let's find out. Google is fun. Largest ant. 4 centimeters. No, yeah, the bullet ant. The giant Amazonian ant. See, that's the problem with naming things, right? The giant ant that is that long. Really? Giant? Really? I mean, to other ants, that's pretty big, right? But giant? That would still make me run. I am planning to visit Ecuador this summer, which is close to the Amazon rainforest. I may indeed see a 4 centimeter long ant. If I do, I'll take a picture of it. Well, I won't because I'll be running away. My wife will take a picture of the ant and then a picture of my butt because I'll be running. The worst pain in the world is apparently caused by the world's largest ant. Worst pain in the world. There's probably a few women that would say bearing a child is worse than getting bitten by an ant. You been bitten by a bullet ant, Joshua?
No, I've seen people.
You've seen it seen these guys? Well, first of all, I don't have a lot of time for anybody who puts something on their body that is supposed to hurt, and then gets bitten, have it hurt, and then put themselves on video. I just want to punch them. This'll hurt too, idiot. I'm not a violent man. At all. So, the length of an ant, 5 inches. A little bit off there. The biggest ant in the world is 4 centimeters, which is about 1.5 inches. Height of a giraffe. Now, obviously, this Changes depending on the giraffe, if it's a boy or a girl. What's your guess for the height of a giraffe? Who's got one? Emma, hit me. 5 meters. That sounds pretty good to me. Have you guys ever seen giraffes fight?
Yes.
It's the awesomest thing in the world. If you have yet to see a giraffe fight, go home and Google giraffe fighting. They are vicious. They're evil. They're mean to each other. One time I was at the Seattle Zoo and my wife was standing by a fence with a cedar tree over it, and this giraffe was in the cage, and it leaned out and put its head down and started eating the cedar tree, but my wife didn't know it was there, and I was just watching it. I took a picture of it, and she's like, "What? Why are you taking a picture of me?" No reason. Click, 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 because the giraffe was right beside her head. It was awesome. And the length of the gym. Who has a guess for the length of the gym? This is where we go crazy, because somebody said, it's 350 meters. How big's our gym? Nobody went down and looked? No one? Nobody? Nobody even has a guess? 30 meters? What do you have, Tavleen? 20 feet? 20. That's why we're doing this, right? This room is 20 feet. Right? So you say 30 meters, Duncan? That's probably pretty close, because it's as long as a basketball court, right? That's how long our gym is. It's one basketball court long. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a basketball court is something like 25 meters long, but I'm not sure. Google! How long? How long? I don't even look at the questions that come up there. That's not too bad. Sometimes they're very naughty. "94 feet long," which is about 30 meters. Holy, well done. Whew, you guys are brilliant. All right. Now, what you were supposed to work out with your friends this morning. How might you measure the circumference of my coffee cup? Because you can't use a ruler. What would you do, Ayesha?
Like accurately or like estimate?
Either. The question doesn't say, does it?
Yeah.
So what would you do?
Take like string and then go around and then take like the string and measure that.
Absolutely, because a circle is just a straight line that's bent, isn't it? Well done. Anybody got something else? Please don't have anybody say get a bendy ruler. If you said get a bendy ruler, nobody said bendy ruler, did they? All right, Sonia, what do you have?
Use like tape and then
Tape. So yeah, similar to the string. Good. What do you got? Ooh, measure the diameter, do math. Oh, it's a little tear in my eye for the math teacher. Well done. Anybody else? Nobody else? Nobody? Going once, going twice, going thrice? I would roll it. I would start it here, roll it, and see how far it went along the table. Me personally. Because I don't keep a lot of string in my pocket. If it was 80 years ago and I was a young boy, I wouldn't have a cell phone in my pocket. I have a pocket with like a pocket knife and some string and a couple of bottle caps. Cool stuff from when kids were allowed to be cool. Not now. What's in your pocket? My iPhone 21. It's awesome. It's my best friend. I say that like I'm not that way. But if you look in my pockets right now, the only thing in it is my phone and my wallet. But when I was a kid, I had cool stuff in my pockets. Magnifying glass, pocket knife. You think I had the magnifying glass to burn stuff. I didn't. I was not violent. I had a magnifying glass to look at stuff because I was a nerd. Yeah, big time. But not totally. I wasn't like TV nerd. Not like that. All right, so we covered the coffee cup. How might you measure the glass door? It's not a toaster oven anymore, it's a microwave. But it's curved. So how might you measure it? Tavleen? I don't know. That's why the question is written that way, isn't it?
yeah.
You can't answer that, can you? What do I mean by measuring? Do I mean the area? Do I mean the thickness? Do I mean the length? Do I mean the width? Do I mean the curve? Do I mean, right? So what was the problem with that question? Exactly what you said. How? Right? What measurement are you seeking? So none of you should have been able to answer that question, but you're honor students, so you all tried. What did you write? Or discuss with each other? Or did you just leave it blank because he didn't even ask a good question, which was kind of the point?
Well, I said
Jenna.
ruler, because you could do like length, width, and area.
Yeah, of course you could. If it was flat. You didn't know it was curvy unless you walked up there and actually checked that it was curvy.
Well, that's not a toaster oven.
Yeah, that's not a toaster oven. Yeah, good point there, too. There used to be a toaster oven here, and then there was some smoke issues, and I went to microwaves. Not in this room. On the old school, I had some smoke issues, because I had a portable, because they didn't want me in the school with everybody. I don't know why. So they gave me my very own portable. That's why I have a fridge and a whole kitchen. I had a bathroom in the portable. It was great. I could be as loud as I wanted. Nobody ever came out to see me. The announcements didn't work very well. They would keep cutting out. It was awesome. People be like, where's Myers? He's in his portable. Oh, I had a barbecue, and at lunchtime, I had barbecue steaks out in the front lawn. I even had a piece of that fake grass that I would roll out. So I had a front lawn, and I had lawn chairs, and it was terrific. Then they built a new school and took away my portable and brought me in here. And then they complained that I'm loud. And they give me this room with the most space to fill. Of course, my voice is going to echo. There, silly. Now, the next question. Again, it's the same problem, isn't it? How might you actually measure the distance from the school office to this room? What do I mean? Go.
So I sort of guessed that it was like how long, like not how long, but like you know what I mean, like the distance. But I was thinking like a really cool meter wheels that like you know, kind of yeah.
A trundle wheel.
Yeah.
1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. Absolutely, you could use a trundle wheel. But the question is problematic again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because what is the distance from here to the office? Is it how far we walk? Or is it a straight line from here to the office? What is it? Max? Of course you could. You could use a GPS, couldn't you? Well, you could, couldn't you? You could take a GPS reading of yourself right now. You could walk to the office, take a GPS reading of yourself there, and that would give you a distance, wouldn't it? Would it? It would give you the distance on the Earth's surface, wouldn't it? Did I travel further than that? Didn't I? Are we on the Earth's surface right now? No, we're 3 floors off the Earth's surface. If you take a GPS reading for right now, the GPS reading is as if we were standing where? On the ground, right? So again, it's a tricky question, isn't it? That's the trouble with all measurement and surface area questions. It's never as simple as you think it is. But all of you think it's so simple that you make silly mistakes. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I were to measure the distance from here to the office, I would measure how far, I would take about 10 steps and measure how far that was, and then divide that by 10. To get an average length of my steps, and then it would count the steps to the office. Except when does that get screwed up? On the stairs, because it's not a step, is it? Right? It's down and out. It's actually in a hypotenuse, isn't it? So that would be difficult to do. What else could you do? Could you get the plans for the school and measure it on the blueprints and convert it? Could you do that? Yeah. Could you go out to the rotunda and throw a rope down and measure the rope and say, technically, it's that far? Could I walk down there leaving a rope like Hansel and Gretel? Well, no, they left breadcrumbs, but we know how stupid they were. Because in the real story, they get eaten. The woodcutter does not save the day. And Cinderella isn't trying on a slipper. It's her whole damn foot. Fairy tales were not for kids until Disney got a hold of them. The actual fairy tales are mean. They were to scare you people into behaving properly. But now, Goldilocks is the hero of the story. What should have happened to Goldilocks? Eaten by the bear. Guess what really happens to Goldilocks? Eaten by the bear. Because what's the lesson? Don't go where there's bears. Of course, in the United States now, you wouldn't even be, Goldilocks couldn't even get in there if she was from one of 7 other countries. I'm not a huge fan of our neighbors to the south right now. Alrighty. Huh?
As a whole?
Only their foreign policy through their leadership. I'm not a big fan of the fact that half of their voting population felt that he was the right man for the job. Which means if I go down to the United States, and I go anywhere but Washington, Oregon, California, and like 5 East Coast states, if I go anywhere else, then 1 out of every 2 people I meet thinks that Donald Trump is a good man to lead the world. And I am uncomfortable meeting 2 people where one of them has to be a raving idiot. I'm really uncomfortable with that. I'm uncomfortable with a country where 1 of every 2 people you meet is a moron. I'm scared of that. And I'm scared when that country is the most powerful country in the world. That scares me a lot. Because they're not intelligent, the voters down there. For some reason. I don't know why they're not. They live in the best, like the most powerful country in the world. They all got free school. They all went to school. Most of the rest of the world is trying to get to Canada or America for something. They already were there, and that's what they did. Please. That's just me, though. You're all allowed to have your own opinion, even if it's wrong. I'm just kidding. You're still allowed to have your own opinion. All right. 4 measurement tools. That should have been the end of page 8 for you guys, yes? Well, I believe it was Emma. Who was it that mentioned this thing? Tavleen. Tavleen mentioned the wheel thingy. That does measure stuff. It is called a trundle wheel. What else can we measure stuff with? What else do we use to measure? A measuring tape. It's pretty easy. It's called that. I use that to measure stuff. What else? Sure. What else? Ruler? What else? Calipers? What else? Everyone knows what a caliper is? It's like a claw that slides, and then it stops, and then it gives you a reading. Anybody got anything else? How do I measure big distances? Like, how do I know how far it is to Japan across the ocean without actually going out and swimming? Because I probably wouldn't make it. I'm a little fat. But on the way, I would maybe grab some garbage and float for a while. Because there's a lot of garbage in the ocean. Yeah, absolutely. We can use that. What else? Yeah, you can use the measurements that are set out. You can do that thing with a map, right? Where you get the things, you go, ooh, 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 ooh. You can do that, right? Okay, good. You guys are thinking. Oh, they think. I love it when kids think. Okay. On to page, for you guys, should be page 9. There should be 2 rulers on it. The top is in inches. Now, here's the problem with measuring things in inches, like our good neighbors to the south and the Liberians and the Myanmarians. Burmans. Everybody wants to count this as decimals. But it's not decimals, is it, Emma? No, because decimals would divide into what? 10. Is that 10 little spots? No, that's 16 spots. We measure in sixteenths, fractions. Everybody should know how to read a tape measure. Even if you don't plan on ever measuring anything in your life, you should know how to read a tape measure. What's this right here? The biggest lines are whole numbers. The next biggest line is a half. The next biggest line is what? Oh, I didn't turn it on yet? Thank you. You guys got to tell me that. Now I look stupid. How embarrassing. Oh. Travel mug down. Did it dent? Oh, okay. My son bought me this travel mug for Christmas, but it keeps coffee too hot. I poured this at 7 a.m. and it's still tasty. But I'm a wuss. I can't handle hot stuff. My wife made me my smoothie this morning. She made it too cold. I'm like Goldilocks. Except handsomer. And if there was a cave full of bears, I wouldn't go in because I'm also smarter. All right, so as I was saying, the big lines are the whole numbers. The next big lines are the half. What is the next big line? Quarter. And then what? Cut a quarter in half. What do you get? An eighth and then a 16th. Everybody reads these wrong. So I would like for you guys to tell me the values of those 5 arrows on this tape measure. You can write them down. You don't need to say it out loud. And we're just doing the top one right now. And when you wish to volunteer one, put your hand up and we'll see if you're wrong. Karina, which one are you going to do? Please say the first one on the left because it's the easiest one for me to talk about. Excellent. What is that? That is 1/4 of an inch. Absolutely correct. Now, the next thing I want to do is remind you guys of something that I forgot to tell you yesterday. Abbreviations. Feet and inches are abbreviated as FT and IN, or more likely you're going to see it this way. An apostrophe for feet and quotation marks for inches. So that is 1/4 inch. Everybody cool? Does everyone agree with Karina? Is that indeed a quarter? Half of a half looks good to me. What's the next one? Tavleen. 11/16 of an inch. Well done there. Absolutely correct, because she is 1/16 back from 3/4. And 3/4 is, of course, 12/16. Who's going to do the next one? Emma. 1 3/8 of an inch. Oh, lovely. And the fourth one? Duncan? 2 13/16. Absolutely correct. You guys are on a roll. And the last one? Max? 3 7/16 of an inch. Can everybody read a ruler? I mean, a tape measure. When will you have to do it? Only if you're going to build something or get something built. It's a good idea to be able to read it because the people that build stuff sometimes can be a little thievy. Oh, you're going to need 850 square feet of that stuff. But my house is only 10 by 10 on that wall. Oh, I got to have extra. Don't be fooled. Make sure you know what you're doing. Now, what's different about the bottom ruler? It's got SI and Imperial, yes? Now, SI is broken into what? Tenths, because it's metric. And everything in metric is based in 10. Why? Because that's how we count. So can I use decimals down here? Yes or no? Yes. On which scale? The top one or the bottom one? Only the top one. So what's this guy going to be? 11.4 centimeters. What's this guy going to be? 13 centimeters. What's this guy going to be? 16.7 centimeters. And that's it. Cool? Easy peasy with metric, right? Now, look closely at the imperial side of this ruler. What's different? It goes by eighths. You cannot necessarily assume it is going by sixteenths. Some tape measures, if you use them, go down to 30 seconds of an inch. But the skill is still the same. You still have to check, okay, well, that's a half, that's a quarter, eighth. Oh, it's not splitting down again, so it's only eighths. So what's this guy? 4 5/8. Lovely. What's this guy? 5 1/2. Lovely. What's this guy? 6 7/8. Lovely. And this guy? 7 1/4. Oh, a class that can do fractions. You guys are going to make me cry all my tears in one day. I'm going to cry a whole pool of tears and I'm going to swim some laps in it. Not really, because I don't like to swim. I can swim, I just don't like doing it. But I like being in water. Okay, you guys have 2 pages of fraction work there. Don't worry about it. I'm going to assign it to you later. You need to flip up to page Converting Units Within Systems, which for you guys should be somewhere around about... Fine. I was going to say 12 because mine's 17. All right, you will notice on this sheet I have included part of the booklet that I just gave you. This is all the conversions that you will need for the course. You will notice, though, it doesn't have every conversion, does it? For example, in the metric, it only goes from kilometer to meter, meter to centimeter, centimeter to millimeter, right? But we know from yesterday's talk, there's everything in between, right? Now, it was very handy for me because yesterday in my other grade 10 class, there's a bunch of kids from Turkey. And we were able to talk about how in Turkey, they actually use all those other weird measurements, hectometers, decimeters, centiliters. They actually do use them. Like I told you they use them, but, you know, there was nobody in here that was agreeing with me. It was hurtful. But that's okay. I've got some distance from it. I can work with it now. All right. So we are going to begin by converting units within the same system. Now, the way we convert units, by the way, what do I mean when I say units? I don't mean like units, tens, hundreds, like Mrs. Bag Crumble's grade 3 math class. What do I mean in this context when I say the word units? What do I mean? Yeah, what I am measuring in, the measurement that I am using. Now, what we're going to do the next 2 days, we're going to be converting units within systems and between systems. And it's a useful skill because you're going to do unit conversion in math, science, science 10 if you haven't already taken it. And then next year, you do a ton of it in physics, chemistry, and biology. The skill is the same. The way you do it is the same in all 3 of those places. So it's a useful thing to know how to do. Plus, you can use it in your real life all the time. I'll give you an example. One time when Target was still open, I went to Target to get an energy drink because I was driving a long way. And I don't usually buy energy drinks, but I was driving a long way and I didn't want to fall asleep and kill my family. So I went to buy an energy drink. And in the pharmacy aisle of Target, they had packs of 4 5-hour energy drinks. And the pack of 4 was $12, right? $11.99. So how much was one energy drink? $3, right? Easy peasy, yeah? Normally when you go to the store, buying big quantities saves you money, yes? So there was a big sign. 4 5-hour energy drinks, $11.99, $3 each. Yeah. Right below it was single energy drinks for $2.50 each. The same brand, the same flavors. And I watched 4 people walk down that aisle, see the big poster, pick up the 4, and walk out talking about their great deal. I, of course, took a picture of it and went to the pharmacist. What the hell? Oh, yeah, I don't know. We just set the prices that they tell us to. So I, of course, bought 16 single ones for way less money because I'm not an idiot. I'm still using them even though Target's been closed for that long. They don't expire. Bacon is another good one. I buy a lot of bacon because I can't get enough of it. It's like my favorite thing in the world. If I could live on bacon, if they could make vegetarian bacon so I was getting vegetables that tasted like bacon, I would only live on bacon. If they could make bacon milk, I would only get my calcium from bacon milk. Now, I know a great many of you are, there's people in here that are vegetarians, there's people in here that do not eat pork because of ethnic and cultural reasons. I understand that. I'm just saying for me, it's one of my favorite things in the world. And recently they changed bacon around. They kept it at the same price, but they sell it in smaller packages. And they think that people are idiots. Because now you'll see great price on bacon, and you'll look at it, it's like, but that's the little tiny package. You're not fooling me. I'm a math teacher. Let me tell you. All right, let's do some math. Okay. The problem with conversions is you guys are going to convert stuff in your head, which is just fine. That's okay. But you still want to make sure you know what you're doing. Okay? And here is what you need to do to make any conversions. When you are making a conversion between any 2 measurements, you are always, even if you're doing it in your head, you are setting up the following fraction. You have the measurement. You have the measurement. And you are multiplying it by this fraction. You are multiplying it by what you want. Over what you have. Okay? That's what you're doing. Now, I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. First thing I'm going to do is come over to this question, 485 centimeters to meters. Every single one of you can convert that in your head just based on what we talked about yesterday, right? 485 centimeters. Centi is 100, so the decimal has to move how many places? 2. So you all know that this answer is 4.85 meters, right? You were all doing that in your head because it's metric, and metric is easy. It just moves the decimal places, right? But if you do what I just showed you over there, which it will work for every measurement in any system, even when the aliens come down and tell us, your planet is 17 million Kreplocks from ours. You're like, what's a Kreplock? You can do the conversion and it will still work. A Kreplock's not a real measurement. It's a swear word in Klingon. I don't actually speak Klingon like the guy in Big Bang Theory. I just know a few words. And Kreplock is one of them. Because I'm a Star Trek nerd as well. But I'm not such a Star Trek nerd that I went and learned the Star Trek Klingon language. I don't think Jim Parsons really knows Klingon either. I think he only learned a bit for the show. But, you know, there are idiots that have actually translated Shakespeare into Klingon. I know, right? Like, that's a first world problem. There's hungry people in the world, and you just spent 8 years of your life translating Shakespeare into a fake alien language. Right? And they're proud of it, Fatima. They're proud. They're like, look, I've converted Shakespeare into Klingon. But they couldn't say it to you because you're a girl. So they'd be like, bruh. You couldn't even say it to most of you guys because you're people, and they obviously can't talk to people because they've just spent 8 years translating Shakespeare into Klingon. You laugh. If you Google Shakespeare into Klingon, you will find books of it. Trust me. All right, so we are going to do the actual math, even though you guys are too smart and you know how to do it. What did I start with? 485 centimeters, yes? So I multiply it by the fraction. What do I want? Meters. So I put 1 meter on the top, and 1 meter is 100 centimeters on the bottom. Cool? Now I just multiply. What do I get to do anytime I have the same thing on the top and bottom of a fraction? What do I get to do? I get to simplify. But what happens when I have something on the top and the same thing on the bottom? I get to cancel them, right? So my centimeters drops out, and I end up with 485 divided by 100, which is 4.85. Now, what usually happens with this is you guys do 1 or 2 of these, and then you start recognizing when to divide and when to multiply, and you don't need to set it up. Do you understand what I'm saying? But as you go further and further, and you're converting more and more different measurements, you're going to need to set it up more and more. Because right now, when I talk of measurements, we mean inches, feet, centimeters, things like that, yes? But as you go further into chemistry and physics, you're going to be measuring things like becquerels. What's a becquerel? It's a measurement of radioactivity. You're going to be measuring ohms. You're going to be measuring amperes. You're going to be measuring moles, not the little rodent that digs through the ground. It's a chemistry term. And all of those weird measurements follow these same rules. They just use different numbers. Understand? So let's look at the next one. I want to go 136 feet into yards. Right? So what am I starting with? 136 feet. And I'm actually going to write out FT. And what's the fraction that I want? I want to go to yards. So I got to put yards on top. So I go and I look in my conversion guide here, and I see 1 yard is 3 feet. Cool? So I go down and I make my fraction. 1 yard. 1 yard is 3 feet. The feets cancel. And what am I left with? 136 divided by 3. Now, when you do that with your calculator, what do you get? Pardon me? 45.3 repeating, correct? But those are decimals. Do we use decimals in imperial measurement? No, we don't. We use fractions, don't we? What is 0.3 as a fraction? 1/3. So this is really 45 yards and then 1/3 of a yard, correct? What is 1/3 of a yard? A yard is 3 feet. So 1/3 of a yard is 1 foot. So really, it's 45 yards, 1 foot. Does everybody understand? That's where this gets tricky. The math isn't hard, is it? If you're not doing it in your head, your calculator's doing the work, isn't it? But when we actually write out answers, that's when we have to use our brain. Everybody cool? Okay, you guys try the next one. 57 inches to feet. 1 foot, 12 inches. And then we're in trouble. Because when you get to there, how many of you want to get out your calculator and find a decimal? Most of you probably want to do that. But you shouldn't, because it's a fraction, because it's imperial, right? So how many 12s go into 57? 4. And what's left over? 4 feet, 9 inches. Everybody with me? Is that 4.9 feet? No, of course it isn't. It's actually 4 point what? It's 4 9/12, which is 4 3/4, which is 4.75. Is everybody with me on this? That's why conversions are a pain. We want to use decimals. Everybody cool? Okay. 2,116 inches to feet. 2016 times 1/12. So that's 2016 divided by 12. That's a big number. You can't really do that in your head. So are you going to go to your calculator? Sure you are. What are you going to get? When you punch that in, what comes up? 116? 168. Exactly. So we're okay. What if a bunch of decimals came up? Would we have to do more math? Yes. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Use your calculator, but your calculator's not giving you the answer. Do you follow me? Your brain is still needed to be involved in finding the actual answer. Cool? Okay. 15 yards to feet. That's an easy one. Probably do that one in your head. I wrote it backwards. Now look at number 6 and tell me what's weird about it. Yeah, you're multiplying instead of dividing. And it's miles, but we've been given a decimal anyway, haven't we? Right? Because that's still how you're going to do it. Right? Even though it looks weird, what did I say about looks? Do looks matter? Or is it the method that matters? Which is it? Do the numbers matter, or do what we do with the numbers matter? What we do matters. So even though this looks weird, and you don't want a decimal involved, because it's not metric, you're still going to follow the same rules. 4.2 miles times, what do I want? I want feet over miles. So what's my fraction going to be? You got to look on your conversion chart. Other way around. What you want goes on top. So 5,280 over 1. The miles cancel. So it's 4.2 times 5,280. Now, is that a real life question or is that a math class question? Math class question. Because would you ever measure something that's 4 miles away in feet? Only in math class, right? That's like saying, how tall are you? Well, I'm 68 inches tall. You would never say that. I'm 5'8", right? He jumped off the roof. The roof was 2,000 millimeters high. You wouldn't do that, would you? But in math class, we make you do crap like that all the time, don't we? How many millimeters is it to the top of the Empire State Building? Idiotic, right? But that's what math teachers have been doing forever. It's so stupid. It bugs me. But what are you going to do, right? So what was the answer there, by the way? It's 20,000 and something. What? 22,176. Exactly? Shut up. Awesome. So you guys are going to do the next 6, I think it is, by yourself, till we get to number 11. Next 4. You do 7, 8, 9, 10. Number 7 is extraordinarily stinky. Oh, actually it isn't, because you have the new data booklet. The new data booklet didn't have yards and inches. The old one, I mean. You had to figure that out for yourself. It's in this one, isn't it? Doesn't this data booklet have it? 1 yard is 36 inches, it does. It didn't used to. So set up 7, 8, 9, and I'll write them down. You can check your answers. Number 10 is hard. Yeah, it is, right? Because there's nowhere in the chart that has millimeters to kilometers, does it? You just got to know how many zeros that is. We add a zero for every step, right? So kilo, hecto, deca, meter, and then deci, centi, milli. So you need all those zeros. So now the question becomes, if I have a pen that is 17 millimeters long, this one is 15 centimeters. In metric and in math class, I could measure that as a kilometer, couldn't I? But would I? Of course not. Everybody understand? It's strictly a math class thing to practice your thinking. It's not a real life thing. It's kind of like when you go to the gym, you lie on your back, someone puts a bar across your chest and you lift it up 10 times and then you put it back on a rack. I'm 42 years old. Never in my life have I needed to lie down on the ground, have somebody put a bar on my chest, lift it up 10 times and put it on a rack. Ever. But people still go to the gym, right? Why? Why do we go to the gym? To get fit, get jacked so the chicks dig us, right, Stanley? Am I right? Yeah. But in school, for some strange reason, everybody's allowed to say, when would I ever use that in real life? I'm not going to do math because I'm not going to use it in real life. But I'm going to go to the gym and do this. Because I do that in real life all day. But you don't. But everybody likes going to the gym. People also go to the gym to run to nowhere. Or take stairs that go nowhere. Or ride a bike that goes nowhere. My favorite thing is when they drive to the gym to ride a bike that goes nowhere. Yes, Emma?
Just a little confused on the 7, because on the other ones, it has the first number on the bottom, but then it has the second number.
Okay, because I wanted inches. Right?
Yeah.
So I have to put what I want in the numerator spot.
Right.
I have yards.
Okay.
Right? The reason that's there is, again, that's not a measurement you would ever do, would you? If something was 5,000 yards away from me, you would never in real life convert it to inches. But the reason I put it there is to do just that. Right? Because I need you guys to be aware that it doesn't matter what you see, you follow the same method. Okay? Because as you go further and further in math, you're going to get more and more things that look weird. But the rules don't change. That's why math is awesome. Because the rules are always the rules. You know how the rules in real life change? Like you're hanging out with your buddies and you can swear, and then you swear around your grandma and she washes your mouth out with soap. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that doesn't happen to you guys, but that happened to me, right? Grandma told me to go brush my teeth with soap, and she came in to make sure and smell my toothbrush and made sure it was soapy. I showed her, though, I took her denture brush and I covered it in soap, and then I put it back in the thing, and then she came and got me out of my bed that night and said, "You're an idiot. You didn't think I'd smell my own brush? Now get in there and do it again." Damn, Grandma. You smart. Badass. I was only 8, so I did it like an idiot, right? If I was 30, I was like, "Grandma, I'm not washing my mouth out with soap." But my grandma was pretty tough. I might have washed my mouth out with soap when I was 30. She died when I was 10, so I'll never know, but maybe. Do any of you guys have tough-ass grandmas? Yeah? Grannies are tough. I don't get it. Even grannies that are young. Like you guys would have youngish grandmas, right? How old's your grandma, Shotzi? Your grandma is 56? I'm only 42! I'm almost as old as Shotzi's grandma! Anyway. Okay, so she's 56. So the thing that grandmas do, they do that thing like back in my day, right? Does your grandma do that? She's only 56. Right? She was born in 1960. You have a great-grandma? Now, your great-grandma can say it because she's been through it, man. But my kids don't believe me either. Like, "Dad, you were born in 1975. You didn't suffer. Don't give me any of that horse crap. You've lived in Canada your entire life, and you were born in the 70s. The hardest thing you had to deal with was an Atari instead of a PlayStation 4. You're right, son. The world had already warmed up. You weren't walking through snow. It's the trouble with raising smart children. I should have raised dumb ones so they would believe all that crap. But they don't. You guys keep believing that stuff. Your grandmas need you to believe it. They need you to really think that they had to carve wheels out of stone to make a wagon to pull their stuff to school. They really need you to believe that. If you don't, they're going to lose a lot of their own self-respect. Even though she's 56, man. That's awesome. I wish I saw it at grandma. I feel bad that I don't. I didn't even know one of my grandparents, or one set of my grandparents. But my daughter was born on the day that my grandmother died. My mother's mother died on September 29th, and my daughter was born on September 29th. So my mom was like, her mom died in 1972. My mom's like, "For 40 years I've hated this day, but now I can love it again." Oh, God, Mom. Yes, Tevlin? No, not on the same day. No. Same. They share birthday and death day are the same. No, it didn't add. That would have been creepy. Yeah. Although really, technically, when you think about it, it would almost be perfect, right? Like a member of my family, a leaf fell off the family tree and a new one grew. But that's not what happened. A leaf fell off 40 years ago, turned into muck in the ground, and became fertilizer for the tree to have my daughter. We'll call it that. Okay. So now we get into some semi-real life questions, but they're not real life still, are they? It's still math class. The wood is 6 foot 4 inches long. How many inches long is the plank? So now I'm converting two things, aren't I? Or am I? What am I converting? The 6 or the 4? The 6, because the 4 is already there. So really all I need to do is take the 6. 6 times 12 over 1, which is 72 inches. What do I got to do with the 4? Add it in to get 76 inches. Everybody with me? So let's start working through these. You're going to have trouble at 13. 12 won't be a problem, though. What do you got to do with 12? How many conversions do you have to do number 12? 2, because you got to do yards to inches, which is 5 times 36. Now, this is what I mean. We've practiced this a lot, right? Do I need to put the 1 there now? No, because we know it's 5 times 36, right? That's 180. And then I need feet to inches. 2 times, I need feet, right? So it's 1 over, I lie, I need inches, so it's 12 over 1. Do I need the 1? No. So that's 24. What do I do with those two numbers? Add them up to get 204 inches. Now look at number 13. I am warning you, there is a trick before you get to the final answer. So look closely at the final answer before you put your hand up or holler it out. Who would like to tell me their first step? What did they do first? Tavleen, what did you think to do first? Change yards into inches. Did everyone agree? So we went 6 times 36, yeah? Which is 216 inches. Okay, then what? Divided it by 5 to get what? 43.2. Awesome. So how many banners can I make? 43 banners. Now, somebody always says, you can make 43.2 banners. No, you can't. Here's the other side of that coin. What if it came out to 43.8? How many of you would say 44? Hopefully none of you. Because you cannot make an eighth of a banner, can you? You have to remember, all that time that you spend learning to round and stuff is a skill. It's not a real life thing, right? How many banners do I need to fill the hallway? If it divides to 43.8, I don't need a 43rd to 44th to fill the hallway, do I? I only need 43. So keep your eye on your rounding. Watch out for real life rounding. All right. Here is what I want from you guys today. You are going to attempt the rest of 13. That's the page we're on now, yes? 13, 14, and 15. That's your work for today and overnight. Now listen to me. I want to do a bit of work with this. I want to explain a couple of things. Please look at number 19 on page 14. This is a question that came off an old final exam. You guys don't have a provincial anymore, but I put this question on here on purpose because this is a math question, but when you read it, there's problems with it, isn't there? What is the problem with this question? Priyanka, what? There's no units? No, you're right. There is no written units. You had to recognize these, yeah? There's no words, okay? That's one problem. What else is a problem with it? Pardon me? Yeah. What else? How many of you know what that stuff is? Yeah. It goes around the wall between your ceiling and the wall. But if you don't know what that is, you can't do this question very well, can you? That's a problem. You picking up what I'm putting down? So not only do you need to know math, you got to know some other stuff. And then there's this. What's that? You know what a foot is. But when have I ever said what a linear foot is? What word do you see in that phrase that you do know? Pardon? You know what a foot is. So that doesn't matter. You already know what that is. Linear foot. Line. It's a straight line. It doesn't matter how big it is. You understand what I'm saying? I'll give you a real life example. I am 5 foot 8 inches tall. That is a linear measurement. Why? Because it's a straight line from my feet to my head. Does it matter how big I am this way? Does it matter how big I am this way? Does it matter how big I am this way? No, even though I'm a little bit big that way. Because it shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. A linear foot is a straight, any linear measurement is a straight line. No, nothing else matters. Point A to point B. Understand? Everybody cool? And I think that is the only thing I need to talk about that you guys don't have. All right. Now remember, please, I stopped at number 13 because it had something weird in it, right? You now have seen every trick in the next 3 pages. You have seen it, you can do it. But there are some tricks between number 13 and number 20, okay? Everybody good? And that's your homework. You don't need to go past page 14, was it? 15. Everybody cool? Yeah? All right. Giver. Holy crap, I'm sorry guys, that took a long time. I told lots of stories again today. It's because I'm new, you're new. I like talking to you. I don't know, do I? No, you needn't do both. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's metric. You can convert either, right? That's why I write the questions that way. You guys, it's like you see right through me. There's a fly flying around in here. I hope it's not 5 inches. Of course, you guys are aware of this bug, right? This bug. Just wait. The dung beetle that can be 3 centimeters long. Then there's my personal favorite. That thing. Look at the size of that. Those are real bugs. Bigger than his hand. Ooh. 16 centimeters in body length, not even including the claws at the front. And I don't even mind bugs. What's in Japan, Stanley? Which one?
That is.
The rhinoceros beetle? Ugh. I was very happy my Windows 10 just put a picture of Hokkaido from Japan up on the screen. It looks very pretty. I would like to go there. I want to go. I do karate, then I could use it as an excuse. But then I'd have to take my kids, and that makes things expensive.